delay and sorry for the inconvenience. Over to you, Priyanka.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Priyanka, Project Manager from Seven Sense Talent Solutions. Welcome to the 5th edition of Youth Collab India 22-23. The 5th edition of Youth Collab India is launched by Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, in collaboration with UNDP India, City Foundation, and Biofin and ACLabs. We are very excited to introduce our expert panel for today's discussion. We have Mr. Ganesh Balakrishnan, entrepreneur with IIT IIMB background, 20 years global experience and proven track record of creating successful business and delivering business impact, leading and working with teams across functions and geographies. Co-founder at Flatheads, a premium casual footwear brand made in India for the world, for the urban workforce. Co-founder of Momo, a mobile payment platform acquired by ShopClues, an e-commerce marketplace and startup unicorn, created and led the merchant ecosystem as part of ShopClues leadership team. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Priyanka. Great to be here. Looking forward to the chat.
So without wasting any time, let's get into the discussion. Can you tell us about the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey and how you came up with the idea for Flathead shoes?
Actually, my entrepreneurship journey began in 2013, almost 10 years ago now. Our idea, me and my co-founder were working together in Honeywell. Right, we had spent anywhere between 10 to 15 years in corporate already, and we decided that it is high time that we take the entrepreneurial plunge and do something in the consumer space. So that was the idea. What we had realized when we used to visit China as part of our corporate visits and business visits was that mobile payments had really exploded at that time in 2013. Right, Alipay and WeChat Pay were basically reforming payments in China. And we said in India, it's a very similar move, right? People are just getting used to 3G, app ecosystem is exploding. Eventually, we will start moving into payment with mobile because it's, as we saw there, it was super convenient. So which is when we decided to launch Momo. Momo was a mobile payments app, which was payments in real world places like restaurants, retail stores, and so on. Right? So that's what we did in 2013. We ran it for 3 years and then got acquired by ShopClues. In ShopClues is where we saw the entire e-commerce revolution happening. A lot of our merchants were actually building profitable businesses inside the marketplace. So we said, after this, the next wave is really for brands to emerge in India because in general, the purchasing power is going up and people are now moving beyond pure functional commodities, right? So that was the thought process. And we said we'll do something in D2C. Why footwear? Because my co-founder was actually a shoe fanatic. He had more than 140, 150 pairs of shoes, right? So we've always been talking about shoes because that's a passion area. Also, being the second biggest population in the world, right? We are the second largest consumers of footwear in the world. It's as simple as that, right? So the market is huge, right? We really found a gap in casual footwear for work, right? Think about it. If you are wearing formals or semi-formals to work, you have a Hush Puppies or a Clarks that gives you that all-day comfort and it is work appropriate as well. But if you're wearing jeans or joggers to work, right, you don't really have a brand that really optimizes for that all-day work comfort and work appropriate style kind of use case. And that is what we wanted to build. So that was the thought process broadly behind Flatheads.
That was a good journey that we have heard. So, Mr. Ganesh, can you share a specific moment when you felt like giving up on your business and how you kept going despite the difficulties?
We launched Flatheads 4 months before the pandemic, right? So November 2019 is when we launched, and within 4 months we hit the first wave. I think during the first wave, it was almost like, it's a matter of time. People will come back and people will buy, right? So it was 4 months of hardcore lockdown where we could not sell a single shoe, but we were still quite bullish about it, saying whenever shopping opens, people will come and do some revenge buying as well. So you will suddenly see some goodness. And during that time, we localized our supply chain from China to India as well. So we completely became made in India shoes, and we innovated on the fiber as well. When the second wave is hit is when we really felt, is this going to be a repeated affair where our business will continue to start shutting every year for 4 months? It doesn't make any sense, right? That is when we really thought about whether we should move on from footwear itself, right? So the second wave was definitely one of those introspection moments, but then we decided, now that vaccinations have started to come, there is probably light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe we should just wait and watch. So that was the final conclusion of that.
COVID has not stopped you.
Well, it did. we ran out of cash, and you know what happened in Shark Tank.
So, can you speak about the ups and downs of your entrepreneurial journey so far, and how you handle the highs and lows?
Tough question. See, entrepreneurs in general are optimists, right? You are always fighting against the statistics. You're fighting against the odds, right? But less than 1% of the startups actually live, right, to see another day. So you need to be a really, really optimistic person to keep doing what you're doing in the entrepreneurial journey, and we've done that for 10 years. So been through both highs and lows on a and that happens on a monthly basis as well, right? Suddenly you will get a big bulk order and you'll be very happy, and then suddenly you will see everything is not working. You need to do something fundamentally different. So all those kind of things keep happening, but optimism is there. That is something that you need to hold as an entrepreneur, because if you start second guessing yourself, then it becomes a big morale problem in your team as well, right? So they are looking at you as a founder to lead the way. So keeping your head above the water, making sure that you are at least clear on 2 or 3 ways you can go, right? Understand what risk mitigation is, try to figure out what is the best path to take at all points in time. You keep evaluating that in your head, right? So and then try to see if data can help you make those decisions is what you can do. It is a tough journey for sure, right? Trying to keep your emotional balance when things are going either too like high or low, and it's never steady, right? So those are challenging for sure, but yeah, it's part of everyday startup life. So you just need to be optimistic and keep pushing, I guess.
That was a good one. Be optimistic and keep pushing. So, can you share any specific advice or tips for young entrepreneurs just starting out on their own business journey?
Yeah, I honestly think that as entrepreneurs, we think that we can do it all, right? And we can, our idea and our energy is so much that you can go and do this. One of the things that I have always found is when we have actually worked with other entrepreneurs, sought advice from folks in the industry, right, have been part of accelerators. For example, we were part of the Amazon Global Accelerator, which is how we launched in the US and UAE, right, in the Middle East as well. So those programs really taught us how to understand an international business environment, how to price your products, how to launch, what is the fastest and best way to launch, how much money you need to dedicate, what kind of business plans that you need to make for that, right? So a lot of those things which you won't even know that are questions that you need to ask come forth when you are part of such accelerators or just communities, right? So there are the D2C brand communities, for example, that exist. Every time you will hear people asking questions and other brand founders coming and helping out, right? I remember in the first startup that we did, we were part of the NASSCOM 10,000 startups initiative, right? So there it was, early days in the startup ecosystem as well. So the Karnataka government was also very helpful in the developing that ecosystem and just the visibility that we got as part of that community and stuff like that. So those are kind of things that I would definitely advise entrepreneurs to take advantage of, because otherwise entrepreneurial journey is quite lonely, right? Every day you're so immersed in what you have to do in terms of execution that sometimes you just need some mentorship, some guidance, some inputs from outside that is usually provided from such angles, right? So I would definitely say look for a mentor, look for an incubation program that you can be part of, interact with other founders and get some good advice so that you don't make all the mistakes that they have made. Right? So anything that can help you run your business much more effectively and faster is definitely welcome. So
that will definitely work for the others too. So how does Flatheads approach sustainability and eco-friendliness in their products and operations?
So sustainability is one of the secondary value propositions that we have. We did not approach it saying we will make sustainable footwear. We approached it really saying, if you are in the Indian tropical climate, right, where you are sweating a lot, right, and you need to be comfortable. Typically, you're wearing t-shirts, and t-shirts are super comfortable, whereas your shoes are not, right? Your feet are sweaty. It's almost like a microwave inside the shoe, right? That's why you're wearing socks, and there are smelly shoe problems, and God knows what else. What we said was, is it possible to give the feeling of a t-shirt on your feet as well, right? So that was the thought process. In order to do that, then we started looking at natural fibers, because if you look at t-shirts, right, what would you rather wear, cotton or polyester? It's always cotton because it is natural. The skin feel is really good. It wicks the moisture, so it gives you a lot of comfort and cool feeling, right, as compared to polyester, which is synthetic fiber, right? So which is why we started exploring on natural fibers. Fibers like banana and bamboo are extremely moisture wicking, and they provide active cooling inside, right? So that breathability aspect of it and the active cooling aspect of it made it very ideal for Indian tropical climates, right? Which is why we innovated on that front. Linen is actually a temperature regulating fiber. So if it is winter, it'll keep you warm. If it is summer, it'll keep you cool, right? So that's the kind of fiber property it has naturally. So linen was the other thing that we launched, right? Delhi ki sardi mein bhi it'll be fine, right? So that was the intent. So our sustainability angle was not saying, hey, we will build sustainable, right? So it was, what is the best material that we can use in order to give that comfort on your feet every day, and those were natural materials. So that's how we went into sustainability. But yeah, we don't use leather. We all our factories are certified for sustainability practices and stuff like that. So because these are the same factories that supply to the Europe and US brands as well, right? So going in, we definitely had that in mind, saying we will not look at, otherwise footwear is a very polluting industry, right? So you need to be very careful there. So those are things that we were mindful of, and we made sure that we are doing the right thing. But yeah, sustainability was one of the propositions that we had, not the main.
Okay. So let's get into the most interesting part of our discussion, that is Shark Tank. So can you tell us about your experience on Shark Tank India and how it helped your business?
So Shark Tank was actually an effort for us to see if we can actually keep the brand alive, right? By raising funds. While the episode was, while we went and pitched, we did not get the deal that we wanted. So we actually said no. But when the episode aired in January, right, a couple of weeks ago. It was I think it went viral, right? That people really associated with the, everyday struggles that we were going through, and what it means to be an entrepreneur really is something that people started seeing for the first time. I just got to talk about it on national TV, right? So with that, people really started associating and supporting the brand as well, right? So within 38 hours, we sold out of inventory here in India. Our US and UAE stock also started moving the stuff that was out there. Plus, after that, we launched a t-shirt collaboration called Down But Not Out, which is a line that Aman had told us on Shark Tank. That sold about 1,000 t-shirts within a period of 3 days. And then we launched a pre-order campaign, right? So we said, why don't we make more shoes? So we started contacting our suppliers and said, how quickly can you make the shoes? So we started taking pre-orders for 60 days before so we took the money and we promised the people that we will deliver the shoes in 60 days. We will make them and we will deliver. We sold 900 shoes within 60 hours, right? So 2.5 days, it was all gone. So people were willing to come and support to such an extent that they would wait 60 days for a shoe to come to them, which was incredible to see, right, in terms of support. So it has actually helped the process of resurrecting the brand, if you will, from nothing again. And that's what we're trying to do at this point.
Okay. So what was the most valuable advice you received from Shark Tank on the show?
So two big things. One was Anupam said, the most important thing that an entrepreneur needs to do is survive, right? So if you're able to build a business in such a way that you don't, crash, right? If you're not burning too much money, if you're building a better unit economics business, that's the best thing to do, right? You're not really dependent on whether the money is coming in or not, right? Funding is coming in or not. That's a great advice that I got there, right? I've heard it multiple times, but he really put it in that perspective, right? Saying survival is the most important thing that an entrepreneur needs to do. The second was Aman, of course, saying, sometimes you do things and it doesn't work, right? Maybe it is timing, maybe it is, variety of factors. You just need to take a pause and come back stronger, right? So, which is what I said at the end, where I said, maybe I will pause and I will think about it. So that journey is on, the whole self-reflection is on right now. And hopefully we'll come back stronger very soon.
I think survival is most important for any of the entrepreneurs. Yeah. So how did appearing on Shark Tank India impact the visibility and credibility of flathead shoes?
So I mentioned about visibility for sure, right? It was national as well as international visibility that we got. I think a lot of startups who go on Shark Tank experience very similar visibility, right? That is something that is very. Imagine you're on prime time for 15 minutes, right? If you do an ad slot in prime time Sony TV or for 15 minutes, that's probably going to cost you, multi-crore rupees, right? So effectively, you're getting that chance to be in front of a national audience. So it has been unparalleled for sure. It has been unprecedented. Second, in terms of credibility as well, as I said, people are willing to give us money to go and make the shoes, right? Now that is a testament to the credibility of what it has generated for flatheads. Right? Nobody ever does that. You don't give money 60 days in advance and wait for the product to come after 60 days. I have never heard of that in e-commerce, to be honest, other than Kickstarter, of course, right? Kickstarter has that promise, but in India, we have not done that. So that is something that has given us a lot of credibility for sure. I think brand building requires a lot of trust building with the audience, and that is what the Shark Tank episode really gave us. Now people trust us that we are a real brand and we are, we will do what is best for our customer. So that has definitely happened due to Shark Tank.
That was nice. So can you share any specific deals or investment that came about as a result of your appearance on Shark Tank? I'm sure you already mentioned few. Apart from that.
One of the companies run by a person called Sesha, they actually did a bulk order for us with us for 300 shoes for all their employees. Right now, that was a big gesture for us. Out of that 900 shoes, 300 shoes was the bulk order that they gave. Right, so. And they did not bargain for any commercials and stuff like that. They just paid exactly the same price that everybody else was paying, and that was a big boost for us in that sense. There are a lot of people who are also approaching us with right now with potentially a fundraise situation where we can actually resurrect the brand again. Right, so those kind of things are coming. We collaborated with the Soul Store to launch the limited edition T-shirts. Right, while we were waiting for the shoes to happen, we were working with the suppliers. So Soul Store offered us to give us all the profits from the collaboration, right? Whatever they sold. So that was very heartening to see from another entrepreneur, right? So those kind of deals have happened as well. But yeah, hopefully, one big deal happens and Flatheads comes back. That's the fingers crossed.
So moving on, how important is having a mentor in the journey of a startup and why? In our journey as an entrepreneur, did you have a mentor or a jury who can evaluate you in any of the step, or how did it help you?
Yeah. I think having a mentor in the entrepreneurial journey is critical, right? Never underestimate the role of what a mentor has to do. Right now in Flatheads, I'll tell you that we have at least 5 to 6 people that we call on a regular basis, right? People who are good at very different things, right? So there is one person who has expanded his brand internationally. So we reached out to them. They are investors in our company, and they also advise us. He advises us specifically on, what is the best strategy to go international with, right? There are people who have worked very intimately with the footwear industry, understand what the overall trends, consumer trends in footwear are. They have worked with a lot of large footwear companies as well. So they advise us on what is the best way forward in terms of strategy, in terms of how you need to look at the business, especially when it was lockdown time, right? So when there were doubts in our mind, we actually went back to them and said, "Hey, what should we do?" So one of the advices that we got was, maybe you should launch open footwear. So we did sliders, and those were best sellers on our platform, right? When people are sitting at home, they won't buy shoes, but they will buy chappals, right? So those kind of pertinent and useful advices is something that you will definitely get when you really need to think about your startup. I think the Youth Collab is an interesting concept as well, right? Especially when you're a young entrepreneur, you have a lot of energy and you want to try a million different things. But entrepreneurship is also about a lot of focus, right? You need to do the right things and you should not do a lot of wrong things, right? That direction is something that you really get from the right mentors, right? So I'm hoping that you guys have the right set of mentors that are out there for entrepreneurs as well, right? Definitely something that people should take advantage of. It is non-negotiable, I would say. Definitely, as an entrepreneur, you should have the right mentors to focus your attention and energies. Sorry, you're not audible.
Am I now?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the importance of innovation and creativity in business, and how Flathead Shoes has incorporated these elements?
Specifically with brands, right? We are in the D2C brand space. It is necessary for you to stand out from the crowd, right? Otherwise, why will somebody come and buy a Flathead shoe over all the big brands that are already out there, right? Like a Nike or a Puma or something like that. Unless you have something unique, unless you have something differentiated to offer that you can really talk about, it is very hard to convince a customer to buy a new brand which they have never heard of, right? So in that sense, innovation is very, very important. So we launched the world's first banana fiber sneakers, India's first bamboo sneakers. We were one of 3 brands in the world that do bamboo sneakers, right? Linen sneakers also one of the world's first. So these are things that establish your, leadership in terms of bringing out new technologies and bringing out new explorations in footwear, right? So that is something that gets noticed. That is something that gets attention, and people will come and try it out, saying, "Hey, what are these banana shoes? They've never heard of them before. Let's give it a shot." And then once they try it, they experience what it really means to have that kind of superior performing fiber on their feet, right? So those are the kind of things that we were always aiming to do, because we wanted to be a differentiated brand. There are only 2 ways to do your business, right? Either you are differentiated, which means you do something different and better, not just necessarily different. Definitely could be worse as well, right? So you have to do it better than all your competition. Or the other way to go is you're cheaper, right? So you either play on differentiation or you play on price. Playing on price is very hard because everybody has been playing on price until now, right? Nobody has been playing on innovation. So that is probably, the only direction you can go where not everybody is giving a fight to you, right? So that was the intent.
What were some of the biggest challenges you faced while starting and growing Flathead? I'm sure apart from COVID, there would be a lot of challenges that you faced.
We always wanted to expand into offline, right, and get into stores. But we were always paranoid, saying, "Hey, if we put our inventory there, so you have only limited amount of money, right? Limited amount of resources. You can only make so much inventory of shoes. And once those inventory is made and then they are put in the stores, suppose the store shut down for 3 months, right? Then what do you do, right? So that was the paranoia that we always had. So which is why we did not explore offline more seriously. But if you look at a brand like ours, when you really wear the shoes is when you feel the difference, right? We, like it or not, it's not very easy to communicate the USP of what these innovative fibers bring in purely on an Instagram ad, right? It's hard to do, which is why our marketing costs were quite high, right? So that was another big challenge that we had. Marketing costs were quite high if we were looking at pure online, right? So that was one big challenge. Second was working with Chinese suppliers, because we were sitting here, was very hard to do, because we were also doing innovations, right? So trying to get them to understand what we wanted to do, a lot of things were lost in translation, right? We had to do multiple iterations to get our thought through. Second was also the timelines, right? From there, if you ship a shoe, it takes you at least 2 weeks to get here, 2 weeks to 3 weeks. That's a lot of time, right? So that was a big learning for us in supply chain. If you really want to be nimble, in the early stages, you need to be nimble, right? You need to try different things very quickly, which is why one of the reasons we moved to India as well, right? Other than the fact that our supply chain was disrupted due to COVID, but outside of that, strategically, it made sense for us to move to India because it was easier to go to the factory, sit with the prototyping guys, make the shoe quickly. They could understand what we wanted and turn around things much faster. So as a result, our working capital cycles reduced quite a bit, right? So we were able to ship shoes faster, right? For example, now the pre-order that we have done, we are saying that we will ship the shoes in 60 days, but if you take it from China, 15 days of that will be, purely in shipping itself, 15 plus 7 days of inventory clearance from customs. So that's 21 days gone right there. So effectively, you will have to budget for at least, 100 days if you have to do it. But because we have suppliers in India, we can do it in 60 or less. So those are the kind of things that were, challenging aspects that we try to mitigate while we're in the journey of Flatheads.
Okay. So what is the most important message you want to convey to the young innovators out there who are looking to start their own business?
Go out and do it. Don't wait. I would say, right? If you have, if you have something that is genuinely changing the world for the better, and if you want people to use it, guess what? An idea has no value, right? Everybody has ideas all the time, right? I get 3 ideas every morning. But unless you go and execute something in the world and put it out there for people to try and use, right, that is when an idea is defined. Right, the effort, the 99% of it is in the effort, 1% is in the idea. Right, so if you are really aspiring to be an entrepreneur and you have something good to do, absolutely go there and do it. Use platforms like Youth Collab for taking that idea to the next level quickly. Apply it, try it out. Just the practice that you will get of how do you pitch your startup, how do you gain people who trust in your idea, right? How do you engage with investors, and how do you convince them to give you money to run your startup? A lot of those experiences are something that you will gain from doing this, right? So definitely, if you get a chance to get into Youth Collab, you should definitely do it, right? Or any other incubator, accelerator, or any of these programs for that matter, and make use of mentors, as I already mentioned, right? So if you have an idea, there is no better time to start up than now in India right now. This is going to be the decade of entrepreneurship in India, right? So you will see a lot of things happening. So good to be a part of it.
So can you tell us about how Flatheads differentiates itself from other shoe companies in the market?
Yeah. So we specifically talk about casual shoes for work, right? Neiman's our biggest competitor. They talk about sustainability as the main focus, right? Skechers is focused more on comfort and lifestyle. We are specifically talking shoes for work, right? There is no casual footwear brand that talks specifically as shoes for work. Think Hush Puppies, which was in the formal space for work appropriate style, but Crocs in terms of comfort. So that's what we are. We are a combination of that work appropriate styling and supreme comfort, something that you can wear for 15 hours every day, and you will not even remember that you have shoes on your feet. So that's how it is.
So coming to the mentor again, so can you share an example of a time when your mentor provided valuable guidance or advice that helped your business?
Yes. So when the first wave of the pandemic hit, we went back to our angel investors. There was one angel investor who had advised big shoe companies before. So we went to him and we asked him, hey, what should we do, right? There is the lockdown, 1 month is over, second month is also continuing, right? What should we do? Very quickly, he said, you know what, don't spend any money on marketing, shut down your marketing engine. Ask your employees to go on leave for a couple of months until the lockdown is closed, because there is no use spending that money, right? Because people are not going to be buying shoes anyway. If you want to really survive, because most of our suppliers were making knit fiber, right? And masks are made of knit fiber, right? So, or woven fiber. If you get a chance to get that from your suppliers, immediately get it and then hit the market with the masks, because that is what people need. And PPEs also, right? So we never did PPEs, but we definitely did masks. That helped us keep going even during the pandemic, when there was a demand for masks, but there was no demand for shoes, right? So opportunistically, it helped us a lot to think in the right direction. Otherwise, you're really thinking how you will survive through the pandemic, right? So at least it gave us some direction to go and some confidence boosting to get some revenues into the company as we were selling masks as well. And it was a much needed product out there. So that's a clear example.
Okay. So how do you ensure that the mentoring relationship beneficial for both the mentor and the mentee?
See, it is for the mentor to take their own value. For me, it is, I am specifically talking to people as mentors because I want certain advice. I want certain, assessment of what the situation is and help me think through something, right? So that's what I'm specifically looking for. And specific mentors, mentors get their energy from advising people, right? So they are people who provide the right kind of guidance. These are typically like consultants, for example, or these are people who have done this before, who will advise you because they know that these are mistakes that most entrepreneurs make, right? And you should not make these mistakes. So they guide you. They are guiding pillars, if you will. It's almost like a teacher-student relationship, right? I'm a student, I'm a mentee. I'm trying to get the most and learn the most out of what the teacher is teaching me. And teachers really get that energy out of, helping students define their path, right? So if the entrepreneur does the right things and the startup succeeds, that is more than enough, satisfaction for the mentor, if you will.
Yeah. So we heard about your previous company as well, Momo. So can you tell us like more about your previous company and its products or services?
Sure. So Momo was a mobile payments app that you could use to pay at restaurants and retail stores. What you're doing now with scanning the QR code of Paytm or Google Pay, that's what we used to do at that time, 2013, long time ago. That time nobody was doing it, right? Paytm and MobiKwik and Freecharge, these are the three big guys, and all of them were doing utility payments and recharges, mobile recharges. Nobody was doing offline payments. So that was one thing that we did. We were one of the first. I think in India there were 3 startups. We were one of them, and we were the biggest one, right? So that was what we had done in 2013, and with some unique features were there. So you could go to a restaurant. If 3 of you are going, you and your friends, for example, right? You could get your bill live on the phone. You could split the bill among all your friends, right? So each of you can pay your own share and you can go, right? So there was a bill splitting feature inside the app. I think recently one of either Google Pay or Paytm just launched that, but it took that long. It's almost 10 years since we did it. Now they have launched it. Then we also used to do toll road payments, right? So that time FASTag did not exist, right? Imagine you didn't have to buy any hardware, right? You could just go register your vehicle number on the Momo app, and automatically the money will get deducted when you come to the toll booth, right? So we had enabled that infrastructure without any hardware, like a FASTag, RFID or something that you had to buy and stick. None of that was there. So at that time, we were doing it purely on mobile itself, right? So those are the kind of innovations that we did during that time. 2013 to 16, we were running.
Okay. So how did the acquisition by ShopClues come about, and what was your role in the process?
So I was handling the entire investor relations at that time, right? While my co-founder was talking to ShopClues. We also had investors on the capital, right? So my job was to convince them that this is a good deal. We need to do this. Also do a lot of the paperwork and convincing them, right? That was what my role was. So the acquisition happened in 2016 because they wanted a payment infrastructure inside the e-commerce platform, right? So typically you need to complete the payment on e-commerce once you shop. And typically if you use third-party gateways and stuff like that, it wasn't a very seamless experience, right? At that time it was quite broken. Now things have evolved quite a bit, right? But at that time it was quite broken. The conversion rates on payments was quite low, which is why they wanted some payment infrastructure to come in and optimize for better conversion on the website. So that was the reason why the acquisition happened. And also they had a large merchant ecosystem who could use Momo to accept digital payments. So we were actually doing digital payments at every offline merchant store that was registered with ShopClues, right? So we were handling both online and offline payments at that time with ShopClues. So that was the reason why the acquisition went through.
Okay. So how did the acquisition by ShopClues impact the development and growth of Momo Technologies?
So Momo was burning money on the consumer side, right? We just like what Paytm was doing or what Zomato is doing or Swiggy is doing, everybody is burning money on the consumer side, right? So they were burning money. We were burning money in Momo. Once we got into ShopClues, we realized that they already have e-commerce as the core, right? Where people are anyway coming and shopping. So we don't necessarily need to burn more money to get customers. Instead of doing the consumer side value proposition, we integrated that into e-commerce itself, right? But on the merchant side, we did a lot, right? We at Momo, we had about 7,000 merchants at the after 3 years, right? Because we were mostly offline, right? So you literally had to go to every shop and restaurant to get them signed up onto the platform. And that was a time-consuming and expensive process to do. But if you look at ShopClose, they had 1.5 lakh merchants when I joined, and it became 6 lakh merchants by the time I left in 2 years, right? So we grew that ecosystem much, much faster. And all those merchants were using Momo on the merchant side to accept digital payments, right? Like what BharatPay is doing right now. We were doing that in 2016 itself, right? So there was tremendous value to be added just on the merchant side without really bleeding money on the consumer side. So that's what that's how Momo changed right post the acquisition. We shut down consumer, but we focused on the merchant side.
Okay. So before ending, we would like to hear about your daughter also. We heard that your daughter is too an aspiring entrepreneur. Like, would you like to share her journey as an entrepreneur and how is it that she got the motivation to start on her own? And a short
So
introduction, yeah.
sorry, say that.
And a short introduction about what has she been doing, working on lately.
Got it. So my daughter is an artist, right? She does paintings and stuff like that. That's her passion. She started doing art at the age of 4, right? And that is one thing that she would definitely not miss during the day, right? And she would spend. Imagine a 4-year-old kid sitting for an hour and a half in one place. That itself is an achievement, right? So she used to enjoy art, and that is something that we encourage her to do. And every year, as part of the habit, what we did was we used to pick her 12 best paintings for the year, and we used to make a calendar out of that, right? And that calendar we would, initially the first year we kept it at home. Our family saw it. Brothers, sisters, mom, everybody came and saw it, and they said, "Hey, we want one too." So we printed some for family in the second year. Third year, a lot of friends started saying, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you give it to us? These look really good." Right. So then we started doing it in year 3. We started selling it to friends as well. And that's how the entrepreneurial bug was born, right? So she keeps seeing Shark Tank as well. That's one of her favorite serials. She really wants to understand what entrepreneurship is about and what kind of ideas are out there that people are pitching for. And that is something that really excites her. So once we got into it, she really now took it to the next level and said, "You know what? I'm going to sell calendars this year to anybody and everybody who wants to try it," right? So so now we have made calendars, both a desktop and a wall version. It features 12 of her best paintings from 2022, and that is something that she wanted to sell. In fact, over the weekend there was a flea market in Bangalore called Sol Sante. We were there, exhibiting and selling her paintings and calendar as well. So it's available out there. It's on my Instagram page as well. So if anybody is interested, you can go and take a look. Yeah, definitely. Encouraging a young artist for sure. All that money that comes from the sales, she goes and invests it back into buying art supplies and making more stuff for the next year. So that's typically how it goes.
That's inspiring too. So we have few questions from our attendees. So
Sure.
if Shark Tank had not given you the vitality, what was your next plans? Did you have any other starter to afford or sell stock?
So we liquidated some of the stocks through other channels as well, right? So that is something that we had done. We were actually looking at potential buyout options for Flatheads if somebody was interested in buying the brand and doing something with it. That is something that we were exploring, and those conversations are still on. If something works out, it'll be great, right? So that's what is going on. Or if we can find somebody to come and revitalize Flatheads with the right funds and the right focus, that is something that I'm looking for as well, right? So we need capital and we need to kickstart the business all over again. So that is what is going on. Meanwhile, yes, I have been doing some consulting assignments and stuff like that. Have I started another startup? No, I have not. But still trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? We loved you on Shark Tank, Ganesh sir. Thank you,
Thank you
UNDP,
very
to
much.
let me know.
Thank you very much.
So, any other questions from our attendees? Well, that comes to the end of our discussions for today's webinar session. Thank you so much, Ganesh sir, for joining us for today's Youth Collab India 5th edition webinar session. Your session was very useful, insightful, and inspiring. We could learn so many things about mentors and the survive word, which is a strong word for each and every entrepreneur who are budding entrepreneurs. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun, and wish everybody good luck to apply to the Youth Collab program, and hope you guys get through and get some good mentorship. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Moving on, let's start with the, let me walk everybody through the application Google form. Let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Difference as far as everything is across.
Yeah. So Youth Collab India 22-23 application form looks something like this. For the 5th edition, Youth Collab India is looking to support passionate youth entrepreneurs with solutions that solve real problems and create meaningful innovation opportunities in the following themes. The themes are digital and financial literacy for youth, gender equality and women economic empowerment, developing fintech solutions focused on biodiversity conservation, promoting biodiversity friendly lifestyles through technological solutions in finance, accelerating circular economy through upcycling innovations, behavioral nudges for lifestyle for environment. Eligibility criteria to participate in Youth Collab India 22-23 is early stage startup led by Indian youth aged between 18 to 29 years, have a prototype or product service concept centered on the themes of Youth Collab India 22-23. The startup or team, if incorporated, should be less than 5 years old. That is, the incorporation of the founding team or startup should be during or after December 2017. We also encourage ideas or solutions that are viable and scalable. Startups team led by women, LGBTIQA, PWDs, and tribal youth. Therefore, for them, the age limit of the founder is extended up to 32 years. For more information, you can click on the link and go directly to the website. So we collect basic details such as what is the name of your startup, which of the below mentioned theme, which I've already mentioned, the themes are digital and financial literacy for youth, gender equality and women economic empowerment, developing fintech solutions focused on biodiversity conservation, promoting biodiversity friendly lifestyle through technological solutions in finance, accelerating circular economy through upcycling innovations, by behavioral nudges for life or lifestyles for environment. You can choose which theme is best fitting to your startup, and the team composition, what is your name and the name, what is your nationality, what is your date of birth, what is your sex, what is your gender, do you identify yourself as to marginalized group, if you fall under any of these, you can click any of that. What is your current occupation? Your current occupation might be not engaged in education or empowerment of training, student, entrepreneur, working professional, freelancers, others. And please share your email address to so that it would be easier for our team to contact using your email ID. And please share your mobile number as well. Which Indian city do you reside in, and which Indian state or union territory do you belong to? We have few dropouts here. You can choose any among them which you belong to. And if you have a LinkedIn profile, please share it. If you have other members in your founding team, please confirm that all of them are in the age group of 18 to 29 or 32 years, which I already mentioned, relaxation of 3 years given to members if they are women, LGBTIQA, PWDs, and tribal youth. If you have other members in your founding team, are they all Indian nationals? Please confirm by choosing the options. What problems is your startup solving? Tell us about your project or idea and how it is solving the problem you're addressing. What is the current stage of your startup? The current stage might be ideation stage, research and development stage, proof of concept stage, pre-seed stage, seed stage, early stage, growth stage. This, if your startup is falling under any of these stage, you can just click on that. Which technology or technologies is used in your product? It might be artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, data analytics, virtual reality or augmented reality, internet of things, smarter devices. And briefly describe how technology is used in your product, and describe your business plan. Any patent grant or fellowship awarded? If yes, please mention the details. If no, kindly answer as not applicable. Who are your customers? They might be, your customers might be government, armed forces, educational institutions, corporates, individuals, civil societies, youth, women, persons with disability, individuals below the poverty line, people affected by climate change, LGBTIQA, senior citizens. So we have a link to apply. We are using a pitch deck. And if you have a company website, please provide the link. If you have a LinkedIn profile of your project or team or startup, please share it here. If not, please answer as not applicable. What sort of support are you looking for at Youth Collab India 22-23? If you're looking for prototyping, pilot testing, expert mentorship, fundraising support, market exposure, industry connects, marketing support, networking, technological guidance, peer connects, implementation support, you can choose any of among them. If you want to share any relevant documents, please upload them here. They might be in prizes won at other contests, funding rounds, government recognitions, patents, press mentions, etc. So when I mentioned pitch deck, we have the skeleton of pitch deck already here. If in case you have your own pitch deck for your idea, you can upload that as well. The skeleton looks something like this. This requires your company name, partner's title and contact details, and your logo, and a problem or opportunity. Tell your story by featuring a powerful image background, or what is the problem or opportunity, and what is the magnitude of the problem. State the pain points if the problem is not solved. Who, where, and how many people's lives are affected. And the solution and SDG impact, that is Sustainable Development Goals impact. Your solution, your vision, what does it look like to solve the problem at scale? How is your startup solving the problem who you mentioned above? And which SDGs is your solution achieving? Is your solution scalable or replicable across markets? And the demo shows how it works with a demonstration of your product, mock-up of what it would look like, or video images of your service in action. What is the user journey from start to finish? Like it might be physically or digitally. What makes your solution unique? That will talk about your demo. And coming next is business model. What is the proposed selling price of your product or services? Where does the potential sources of revenue come from? How is this initiative able to sustain financially, or what is the value of your product on offer? And what are the major costs? Who are the users? Who will pay and how much? The business model in outline looks something like this. And go to market plan or growth strategy. What is your market strategy? Who are your competitors? How do you plan to reach your first batch of customers if you already pre-launched? If you have publicly launched, how many customers have you acquired and retained? What is your growth target for next year? Management team and core skills. Who are the rock stars behind the team? What are your core skills, experience, knowledge? Feature energetic group photo or individual photo. We have a space given to feature your rock stars. So the current progress or achievements and timeline. What is the current status of your solution? Would you like to share your greatest achievement so far? What's your timeline for the next few years? Mention any awards, strategic partnerships, funding, rounds, etc. that you have received. So the call to action would be your goal. Like, what is your goal currently? Your strategy. What is your strategy to achieve the goal? Your need. What do you need in order to achieve the goal? The last would be the thank you along with the contact details. It would be easier for us to contact Youth Collab team to contact you if you provide the contact details and your team members details. Do we have any questions from our attendees? So what is the last day to apply? 26th of January 2023 is the last day to apply. Well, that comes to the end of the webinar session. Thank you so much for participating in this webinar session. Thank you.